scared of the future, and I hate my past. Present hurts too much, but I know it won't last. No, it won't last.
Welcome to Men Talk. I'm your host, Dakota, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey. Here at Men Talk, we dive deep into the often overlooked world of men's mental health, exploring topics that matter to you. From personal stories to insightful guest interviews, we'll cover everything from anxiety, depression, and PTSD. My mission, to break the stigma and promote mental wellness one conversation at a time. Let's embark on this journey together and start making a difference.
I've got a brain that wants me dead. I've got a woman that wants me in bed, and I'm somewhere in between, trying not to blow my brains out.
All right, everyone, we're back with part 2. So really what I can remember of everything, like on the last episode, like what we were talking about, was like when my father came back, everything just kind of, I guess, was already going downhill because, you know, the last story, like where my mom had fell out and hit her head. I remember, like I said, nothing really happened from that. I just remember that once that all happened, later on down the road, I remember that my father was home. And I remember that I thought everything was good. I thought he was, you know, a different guy. I thought everything was great. And it was for a while we were still down in Steeplechase. I remember that, you know, we would go to the pool, we would go play basketball, play soccer, and we got to hang out with all my friends and everything. And then I guess from there, I would still go to school and everything still happened. And then I remember coming home one day from school, you know, after thinking, oh, hey, everything's great. And I remember coming home one day after school and both of my parents were passed out. And not just passed out, but like sprawled out, I guess. Like they were like dead to the world. And, you know, I thought that both my mom and my father were dead. Like, you know, me and my brother walk in and it wasn't, I remember this very well. And I remember walking in and they were both passed out. They were both out and they were, you know, just, I guess they were messed up. They were messed up on drugs. And then I guess it went, I really don't remember much. I really don't remember much after that. I don't know what happened or that decided. I just know that me and my brother walked in. My father was in the living room. My mom, she was in her bedroom, and they were both out. You know, we're freaking out. We finally get them to wake up, and from there it was crazy because I think my mom realized that something was going on, and I think she wanted to get better. And I think she wanted to make a change, and so I remember her reaching out to my aunt and saying, like, she gave her a phone call, and I remember it very vividly that she just said, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to come home." And it was crazy because it was like my mom and well, not my mom, but my aunt and both my mom's sisters, I should say, were like down in Florida, and like maybe I felt like a couple hours, but in reality, I mean, it took them like a day, I guess. But it was like they were down like the next day or two, and it was insane, because, you know, like they came to the rescue, and it was crazy because I remember that like we're loading up everything, and we're packing it all, and, you know, we're leaving, and we moved back up here to Florida, and it just felt like a godsend. You know, it really felt like, you know, God was just looking out for us because I guess, you know, everything was so bad, and I didn't realize how bad all of this stuff was because, you know, I'm still a kid. I'm still enjoying life and trying to. But, you know, looking back on it, I remember all of this, and like all of this shit really just hits me. It really hits me hard in a lot of areas, and, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy how I can remember some of these things, and a lot of it I can't. But I remember that when they came home and got us, we moved back up here. We moved in with one of my mom's sisters, and we're living with them for a little while until like we found like our own little apartment back in Mount Airy. And I remember that from there, it was just like a sigh of relief. Everything was good. I went to Franklin elementary school for my my fifth grade year, and I remember going to Gentry for like 6th through 8th, and then North Surrey from ninth through 12th. So like I got to stay in the same place from fifth grade on, and I mean, like I said, it was just a sigh of relief. It was crazy how well everything was just going at that time. And once again, we moved to apartment when we moved back up here from Florida, and we lived with my aunt and everything. We moved into an apartment, had our own apartment, everything was going great. And my dad started working again. He was still around at this time. He was staying out of trouble. And I remember, I don't really know what happened. I think it was my fifth grade year, because we had moved after that. It was like my fifth or sixth grade year. But I remember from there, something happened at the apartments over here in North Carolina. I remember something happened, and I just remember him going back to jail. And then, like, um, we had left the apartments, and my mom had found a trailer for us to live in. And this was fifth grade year, because I remember this. She had found us a trailer to live in, and I remember us living there from like sixth to eighth grade, almost. Maybe no, I was in high school, so sixth to ninth, maybe junior year. And I remember us living there, and from sixth grade on, we had lived in this other place, and everything after that, like once my father was out of the picture, it was just like life got so much better. And like to see it now I know that he was the issue. I know that he was the problem. And I can't really blame my mother for a lot of the stuff she did, but at the same time, we do have a lot of mixed feelings about it. And me and her talk about it. We're like, we're best friends, but at the same time, I still love my mom a lot. She is the best Oma, to my kids, and she's the best mother in the world. Um, and truly, I don't really know where I would be without her. Um, I don't know where I would be without everybody else's help who helped her along the way and helped us along the way. Both my aunts, my granny, and the people in this community that I live in, because I know that we received a lot of help. I know that we did, and it's just it's really kind of crazy, to sit here and think about it. Sorry, I'm looking over my notes because I really just want to be able to make sure I can cover everything, I guess, because I guess this is going to run into more of a different episode now, since my story was a little cut short, because I don't give a whole lot of details as much, but I want to get this out so that way and you're going to hear more of these stories, especially like as I'm talking to people, and we're going to bring up things, and a lot more details are going to come out later on as well. But I want to cover this gist of everything, so that way you kind of get who I am and everything. But anyway, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for everybody that's helped us, helped her, um, make it through and be able to enjoy life. Well, I remember going through, like sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, and everything was great. Everything was a blast. I got to make really good friends, and got to live life and actually be a kid, be a kid again, and not have to be so grown up, I guess. And like I said, we still struggled. We wasn't rich by any means. We're still dirt poor at this time. And like I said, it's kind of crazy, because like we wouldn't never made it without the community's help, or the help that she had received from my aunt, my granny, and others, because we were still dirt poor. I didn't have the brand newest of, like, the newest of shoes and cell phones and all of the good stuff that you can think of. I didn't have none of that. I went through school. I went through seventh and eighth grade playing football, and in playing sports. That's how I coped with a lot of all of the stuff that had happened years prior. And it was crazy because, like, people would think, I guess they thought, I don't really know what people thought, because, I'm not a mind reader, but, I felt like people thought, oh, hey, he doesn't have it so bad. He doesn't have life as hard as some of these other kids. But if you really knew, like, the whole backstory of a lot of it, or, like, not, we didn't live in nothing bad when we moved back up here, but it was just the fact of, like, what me and my brother had been through previously, and, like, what we're still going through. Because, like I said, we couldn't afford much of anything. I didn't have a job. My brother didn't have a job. We were young kids, so it was my mom, who was disabled, fully disabled, that can't work, taking care of me and my brother. And so, that only goes so far when you're receiving, SSI and food stamps, or and things like that, because, like, there's no one else there to help besides the people that we have. And and people, like, the people who are local around here, and like my aunt and them, they have their own families and their own households to upkeep. So you can't expect everybody to say, oh, hey, we're going to take care of you, because that's not how the world works. And like I said, like, we didn't have everything. We didn't. A lot of the stuff that we did have, I got a game system. It was from my aunts. Um, if it was a cell phone bill, it wasn't the most expensive cell phone bill. It was like the $25 prepaid or whatever it was that my mom would get me, so she can stay in contact with me with our house phone. Or if I needed to have a ride, I could call my aunt or my granny or whoever. That's really it. And I guess I guess it's kind of crazy because, like, people, I guess people thought that, I had it made or whatever. I guess, I didn't. I tried not to let a lot of it, um, affect me. And I guess the way that I did that, and one of the ways that I coped growing up, finally getting to, like, the seventh and eighth grade, where I could take out a lot of my anger and a lot of my emotions and everything, was sports. Because I tried to play little league. This was back when, like, the White Plains Raiders were still around, and I remember that we had help. And we lived not far from there because we lived over in White Plains. And I remember that I had a ride to practice and stuff like that, and there was people who were helping us. But at the same time, like, I was too big. I was just a big kid. At this time, they had that weight limit to where you couldn't play. Like, you could play, but you had to wear a red stripe on your helmet. And I was a big kid, not really fat, but just, I guess I was, but just muscular, I guess. I don't know. But I remember that, like, I was trying to lose every bit of weight that I could, uh, to play football. And, like, I was doing all kinds of stuff at that age. I was running around with a trash bag on. I was trying to stay as much, like, physically active as I could, and not eating a whole lot, trying to just lose weight. And I never could make weight. That's the, that is the craziest thing. I could never make weight to play football, and for the little league. And because I was not going to be a lineman. I'm just going to tell you, I was not going to be a lineman. And 'cause I knew that I didn't have to be one. I knew that I could do something, I guess, different. And that's what I wanted to do. And so I didn't play that year, when I was in little league and everything. And then, they had the rules where you can't play until, like, you're in seventh grade. And so that's really when, like, my whole football um, career, I guess, started. Like, when I started to be able to actually express myself and get rid of all the emotions, or try to um, I guess, conceal the emotions or help with it, I guess. But it was at that time, like, I got to play football, and it was crazy because, you know, seventh and eighth grade year, I played with all of my friends that I'm still friends with now. Everybody's grown up, so, you don't see everybody every day now. But, like, I actually found something that was more than, I really don't know, like, just more than uh, a safe haven. It wasn't just, oh, hey, you want to play sports, or hey, I want to be cool to play sports. It was my safe haven. It was my form of a relief. It was my form of, like, the way that I could get rid of my stress or depression or whatever I was going through, because at that time it wasn't good. It was not, I still lived with a lot, and I was doing stupid things that kids shouldn't be doing at the age that they should be. Um, I was doing a lot of stupid things. Seventh and eighth grade year that I picked up on bad habits that my father and my mother did. And, um, I was just, I don't know, I was being stupid and probably shouldn't have, but at the same time, I don't know, I just really wanted to fit in. I wanted something else, and I still loved football, but when football was gone, what do? I wrestled. Yeah, wrestling was great, and I loved wrestling. And then after wrestling, I did track. So I stayed as physically active as I could, but at the same time, it was like, I don't know, there was still a void there that I had to cope with, and started doing stupid things. And, when I mean stupid things, I started dipping at an early age. I started drinking at an early age and having a grand old time. And then, I found my way into other substances that are, I probably should have never, ever, done any of that. And trying to make it through like everything that you're going through. Cause like, you don't feel like you're enough as a kid at that point when your father's gone. You can't help your mother. So you're living at this point to where like I couldn't go get a job. I didn't have a ride. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't, we couldn't afford nothing. And, you're all these mixed emotions that are going through your head. And even though that there's help and we have help, there's still a lot that, people could, like I said, people can only help you, but so far. And I guess I found another form of coping, and man, I'm gonna tell you, I did all kinds of stuff. I did everything and anything, I guess. Well, not everything and anything, but I did a lot of dumb crap when I was in seventh and eighth grade still, and carried it into freshman year of high school. And I didn't start realizing, I guess, that I had the potential to potentially go and play football somewhere until later on. And that's what I put my focus in. I put my focus in football. And man, I'm gonna tell you, it took me a while to quit doing the stupid I was doing, but it's hard. It's hard out there, and it's still hard for a lot of kids these days. And so, like me being a kid then, and like I said, you can't help. You can only help but so far. You're still going through all this stuff. And even though I had sports, I had school, we had plenty of food at the time, so it wasn't like we were really struggling there, because my mom was getting help not through just food stamps, but like through the churches or whoever it was that was helping us. And from there, it was, I don't know, it was just really, really hard, because like you only feel, you can only do so much in life, or so much at that age, I guess. And we did that for the longest time. Um, Kept playing sports and played football and wrestled and did track all in middle school. And then coming into like freshman year of high school, I still did football and wrestling, but kind of gave up on the whole track scene, because I just got to the point of being lazy, I guess. I didn't like running for fun. And track was it was a different breed. No, that's not for me, bud. I'd rather, I don't know, I like the contact sports, I guess. And I guess, I don't know, I guess football was, like I said, football was just my safe haven. It was just something that I could do to get rid of all the mixed emotions and all the emotions that I was going through. And I can't really say I was ever really bullied, but I don't know. I really wasn't. I can't say I was. And I try to stay away from it, because it's just, I don't know. It's a lot different, because like I said, you never know what someone in their life is going through. You never know who is missing their father, or their father's not around, or their mother's not around, or whatever. And a couple of my friends, their father had passed away, and or just wasn't in their life in general. Really, I mean, I know, pretty sure one of them's passed away, and the other one just wasn't in their life, and that's hard on them. So like, I felt my safe haven around. I had lots of friends, and then I don't know, just I don't know, I really don't know, honestly. And look, I can just tell you though that like I said, I found my comfort in football. That was my safe haven in football. It's going to stay. I mean, it was always going to be stay my safe haven while I was playing it, and because there was just something different about it. There was something, I guess, the coaches were different, and they always seen something in me and always pushed me to do better in life and expected me to be at a higher level, higher standard. But I guess I was looking for that father figure, because I didn't have that. So I guess that's where it's different, because I guess I couldn't get that out of school. So I wanted to get out of football. So I guess that's really where I'm trying to get to, honestly, since I'm rambling this entire time. But like I was saying, it's completely different. It was completely different when I was playing football. It was like everything was gone at that time. All I had to focus on was me and football. All I had to do was focus on what I was running and what I was doing, who I was hitting, who I was getting hit by, not everything that's happened to me in my past, not nothing that I wasn't even thinking about the future. At that time it was just my mind was clear. I felt peace. I felt at ease. I felt like nothing could stop what was going on, and nothing did. It was great. From like 7th to senior year, life was really good. Besides, like, your exceptional, like I said, growing up poor, power's not going to cut off, or you're going to have food in the house, things like that, that I've seen my mom struggling with, and I've seen it way more now that I'm older, or as I was getting older in high school, I've seen it way more, because it was just so hard on her, and that's all I've ever wanted to do was make sure she was okay. And because, like, not only did I go through something, she was going through something, and my brother was going through something. And, she can't help that she got sick. She can't help that she has CIDP. She cannot help that. And it felt like at the same time, like the she was going through, could only get worse. It felt like, I mean, I guess it got easier as we got older, because, it wasn't as hard on her, but still at the same time, like, you got to think she's sitting here struggling to be the best mom, the best parent she can be to two boys who don't have a father in their life, who she's struggling to make ends meet and pay bills and have food in the house and stuff like that, because it's just her by herself. So what do you do? The government only wants to help so much, guys. Let me just tell you, the government only wants to help so much. I have seen, and now being older, to see like some people get so much more help than I feel like she ever received. And it's crazy, because, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure we were living on, and looking back on it, it was like $600-700 a month. And like looking at the food stamps, it was like $600-700 a month or whatever it was. I mean, you can't do nothing with that. I mean, especially now, you can't do nothing with any of that. So it was just, it's crazy, because of like everything that I've experienced or seen her experience. She's allowing me to be a kid. She's allowing me to play sports. She's allowing me to stay after school. And we had help with that. My granny was our ride. My granny took me everywhere. So like my granny's the one who took me to Driver's Edge. She took me back and forth to school. Like, she picked me up after practices, and if it wasn't, and that was all middle school. And then like high school, as my granny's getting older, it was harder on her to drive. So, I had friends who were taking me back and forth to practices, because I didn't get my license until like after, like right before high school got out, I'm pretty sure. And we like I said, we constantly had help, So I remember riding to school with a buddy of mine. His name's Devin. I remember riding to school with him every morning, because he lived over in White Plains with me. And so, like freshman year, or into freshman year to junior year, somewhere around there, I was riding with him to school and back home for practice because he played football too. So like it worked out for us, and like we hung out all the time. So like Devin was like really like a really he's a great friend. He's still a great friend. He's a great person. And I just remember that cuz like, not having that help, I don't know how I would have done it. I know I would have had to ride the bus to school, which I did for like freshman year until like until he got his license. That's when I started riding with him because we actually rode the bus together a while like before then. And man, it was crazy because like just to see it now and everything on that side of things, it was just really crazy. But I don't know, man. I'm telling you, like I don't think I know. It's not even a thing. I know that we could not have made it without anybody's help. I know that we couldn't have. Like from my aunt, my granny, and my uncle, um, people in the community that we live in, and my coaches. I truly do not believe that we could have made it. And I know that we couldn't have. And I'm just so thankful that I live in the community that I live in. I'm so thankful that I have the family that I do because I know I wouldn't have made it without my granny and my aunt. And I'm truly thankful for them, and I'm blessed to have them in my life. And I don't know, it's great. It's great, and I'm glad that I got to make friends. I feel like my life changed when we moved back up here for the final time. Uh, I don't know. I feel blessed. I truly do, and it's crazy, guys. It's crazy, like how much just playing sports or living in the community that you live in can really change a lot of things. And if you don't have help, ask for help. And that's a hard thing to do. That is a hard thing to do as a male in general. And I feel like it's a hard thing to do for someone and people who have a lot of pride. And I will tell you, I'm not one to ask for help. I try not to ask for help on any aspect of things. But as I've gotten older and as I have kids and I'm seeing a lot of things, it's like, man, why can't you ask for help? Why can't you do that? I mean, what's the point of not being able to ask for help when, like some things I've never been through, like some things I've never dealt with, and it may be a new experience for me, but if I just ask that, like find someone or ask that person who's going through it or has gone through it, hey man, how have you dealt with this? Or how are you handling this? Or how do I fix this? Or how do I don't know, how do I hang this? Or whatever it is, whatever it may be, just ask for help. Because like you never know who will be there to help you or anything. And like I said, it's I don't know, it's just truly been a blessing. I guess that's really it this episode, I guess it's just me talking about, random crap. Well, I mean, like I said, guys, if you need help or if you ever want to talk to me or talk to anybody else, and if I know the person that can potentially help you, or if I've never been through it, or if there's something I could do for you, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Like I said, my email is mentalkpod@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to help you as best I can, or find someone that can just help you understand something that may be going on in your life.